Good morning. It's everyone this morning. Little humor in today's title there on YouTube, Trading the Frog in the Blender Pattern. And what that is recognizing a pattern that in the moment doesn't appear to have a lot of... Uh-oh. Little humor in... They kill that. Doesn't have a lot of odds of moving significantly in one direction or the other. And so recognizing that initially is going to help us avoid being the frog, right? Getting chopped up in a market that suggests that it's really not going to go one way or the other unless it can clear a reference point of overhead resistance or support down below. So as I'm looking at the S&P here, as I do every morning in multiple time frames, I view this to create a bias as to what the probability is for today. Meaning, is there the possibility of having a trending move in one direction or the other? Or is it more likely to be a choppy kind of frog in a blender type of a pattern here? And from what I'm looking at here, it looks like a frog in a blender type of a pattern. So does that mean we sit on our hands? Maybe. As we look at individual stocks, we pretty much can always find something to trade. But we like to have the market with the ability to move significantly in one direction or the other because it really helps, you know, getting even what is being focused on to move even better. So we'll look at the other markets too. You know, Alex is pointing out to me that it's cleared. He didn't say support or resistance, but we'll take a look. I would imagine resistance, but you need to have multiple markets moving in the same direction to have the greatest odds of probability of a trend. So even yesterday, where the S&Ps, and we were short some spiders, and I was short the ES, looking for prices to move down here, they held at this low here. And so when the Qs came down to their prior low, that, you know, they were already a little short-term extended because of the gap down, and then they were near support, and then buyers came in and held it, and then this held, and then we got this W bottom down here. So now overnight, as prices moved up at the end of the day, and then overnight here, buyers bought the dip, and now it's just getting close to this resistance area. You know, that suggests that the overhead, you know, that overhead resistance is going to put a cap on a move to move significantly higher. And now that it's created this support here, well, the odds of moving significantly lower are diminished. And as you can see on the daily time frame, we've just got an inside bar. So we wake up in the morning, see, oh, the markets are up, whatever they are. Dow's up 145 points here, pre-market, the futures. So, oh, wow, bullish, things are moving up. And you look at the charts and you say, well, that boat's already gone. Not much left in it, so probably best to go move on and look at something else to trade. Or if you're just going to trade this, sit on your hands. Obviously, we'd move to smaller time frame to see if it makes sense to trade this or not. But just sticking with the S&Ps here, it just appears to me that there isn't much opportunity unless prices can break through the upper level or the bottom level. So if it breaks through this pivot low, PL, well, it opens up the door, at least for intraday trading, to move down here and maybe lower. So we'll have to just see how that unfolds throughout the trading day. So we go to the Qs here, and no, they've cleared this high. It's pretty similar to the ES clearing its high there at 2,300. But that being said, it appears that it may have some more room to run since it fell further. So sometimes one of the concepts that we look at is, say we're going to do a counter trend trade, and we say, well, which market or which stock do I want to trade? Well, sometimes you want to trade the ones that have shown relative strength if they have held up and gone sideways. But if they've only declined a little bit and they're near resistance, they probably, it's likely they don't have much opportunity versus going to what showed relative weakness and created what we call a price void. Maybe have a greater probability of bouncing higher into that resistance. So as you can see, I've got two lines here. This one, I've got overlapping opens and closes, which have already been partially tested right there. So I know that there is a base or consolidation in the smaller time frame, like the 5-minute. And then after that, this wide range bar down, this igniting bar down. This is kind of type of a 1, 2, 3 continuation pattern right here. Igniting bar. I know it's not an inside bar, but you can see the body is. So we have our textbook patterns and then we have variations. So understanding that opens up the door to more possibilities. And then as it went down and came down to the prior low, buyer stepped up, and then we had the retest, in the latter part of the day there, and that subsequent move up. So far, this consolidation right now is a short-term bullish pattern. Maybe it could pop higher. So the Qs would appear to have a greater opportunity to move up. That being said, we've got another inside day at the bottom half of a wide range bar here after breaking down with a weekly chart in an uptrend and pulling back to support. So yesterday's pre-market and review, we talked about the conflict between multiple time frames, and that still exists today. So be nimble as a day trader here, which you always should be, but probably going to require being a bit more nimble here since prices are caught between these reference points, which is not going to make it easy. This is not likely that they're going to trend very far before sellers come in to try and knock it back down, or buyers come in trying to hold it. So best place to be is in the green room with us to review this, those of you that are on YouTube, but at least you're getting a game plan for the day to understand what the story is here, going into this objectively. Now the Dow, which has obviously been relatively weak, is actually showing a little bit of strength here. It's within a trading range, so the upside also is capped here, where sellers have been taking control and buyers have been taking control here, and that's what a trading range is made up of. Pivot highs as opposed to pivot lows that are in a relatively close area where the battle is going on. Daily trend is down. Right, broken down here through multiple pivots, came down to support. Buyers are trying to hold it here. And so the question is, do we get a retest? Yet we're waiting to see. That would be ideal. But right now we still got another inside bar. So this green bar, if it was to close like this at the end of the day, and that's a lot of hours away, well, that would suggest maybe a move up toward these converging moving averages tomorrow. In any event, if that was to close like this, we're still within a trading range all day today. So we'll just have to see, again, can they clear this high or get down here? And so at the moment, it appears that, trading the indices are probably the least opportunity here versus finding some stocks. And there's a whole bunch here that are moving. But again, a minder is a starting point. Then we go to the charts and see where there are voids or the trading ranges and so on. Bonds are backing off from the prior high, normal. A little trading range, which are these daily bars going sideways. You can see the weekly at resistance. Stay away for now to see if it can consolidate, absorb this supply. Can it chop around here for a while to break out? Or is it going to start to pull back? So I don't know. I'd stay away. Gold couldn't make it moving higher. It had this nice move up and it's been grinding down here. So another pattern where I would say stay away. See if it can hold this low and maybe turn around. See if these buyers want to step up again that did here and did here. Can they do it again to get it turned around? The weekly chart is still okay where this is kind of drifting on into this support here. Can they get it turned around, or is this topping tail going to follow through with a nasty move to the downside? I don't know yet. Stay away. Crude oil, right? Had this really beautiful run here early in the year, hit that price resistance, backed off close to the prior high. Choppy, I think another one to stay away from. So as we go through equities, bonds, gold, crude oil, I'm coming away with this with just stay away from all of them for the moment. You know, if you're nimble and maybe the cues here, maybe they pop up, you want to consider that if this is your market to trade. Other than that, probably starting to go through these individual stocks to find what's moving, what has a price void, where opportunities are, probably going to have better odds than trading the broader markets today. And we'll take a look at, I got a couple of minutes here, so we'll take a look at a couple of ETFs. Semiconductors hit their 200 MA yesterday. So down a whole lot in a relatively short period of time, coming into a reference point that everybody knows is there. They're popping up here a little bit. So maybe semis are the place to find some at least day trades. We'll take a look at those later. I'll take a look, take maybe NVIDIA, which looked like it was going a heck of a lot lower yesterday. Maybe it actually pops up here today. These have been under pressure. The whole China, blah, 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 every day, China tariff concerns. Then, we're not going to do anything right now in the moment. Oh, yes, we are. It's just craziness. And why? Who's Mr. Schizophrenic? I don't know. Politicians, the market. Somebody sure is a wacko. And what else got here? Internet index, just chopping around there inside day. Financials, they held up pretty well yesterday. You could see this trading range on the hourly chart and the pullback here. Maybe financials is a place to focus on for swings. I'll take a look at them. But, overall, I think this market's got to find its footing with those weekly charts getting turned around. Mentioned yesterday, retailers, gap down yesterday, didn't really go anywhere. A lot of earnings coming out this week with the retailers, and we'll see what happens with them by the end of the week. Aerospace and defense has just been holding up here. Boeing's up. I don't know if there's any news. I didn't check it yet, but that was up nicely this morning. But this is the big stock in this sector, and this has been chopping around, which looks like maybe it can clear these highs. We'll see if it gets going here today to clear those highs to move up. But, Boeing's up 7.5 here. So a nice move breaking out over here. Got a bunch of resistance overhead, but not the greatest daily chart, but the hourly looks somewhat inviting. We'll take a look. And other than that, let's take a look at the Russell. We haven't looked at the Russell here. It's just a mess. They showed some relative strength yesterday. Not very apparent here because it backed off a little later on, but it was holding up before it gave it up in the afternoon. It was holding up better than the S&Ps and the Qs, but then it kind of gave it up as everything else did. And, then it held the lows, and here we are, chopping inside day. So the takeaway here is, as always, be nimble, be careful as an intraday trader. These charts don't suggest, even though they're up here, a lot of opportunity, based on what we've already covered as far as resistance and support being relatively close together. So sellers up here, buyers down here, doesn't present a very convincing story here for some trending move unless we can clear one side or the other. So, look at what is, accept it, and as far as I'm looking at these, tells me to look elsewhere for opportunities. Maybe Tesla. There was a story today talking about $10, which seems ridiculous, but seems like, while it's a little extended here, it could be short bait for quite a while.
What about that woman analyst who said it was going to 40,000 or 4,000, whatever?
Maybe Dan, if you live long enough, maybe it will. I don't know. Maybe she'll be proven right, but she'll be dead by then. Anyway, take it over. Baba appears to be a cup and handle. I don't know. Dan can check it out, but oh, you mean on the intraday? Remember, somebody mentioned that on the Facebook group about a cup and handle. I don't know if you saw that, Dan, with some stock, but they totally missed the point. But if you read the textbook, if you will, about a cup and handle pattern, it's supposed to be pulling back from new highs, after a market correction, not a bottoming pattern and something that's been smashed. So they kind of missed that point about the cup and handle pattern.
I mean, they're so easy. It's really just a buy setup, but instead of it coming down in 3 little bars, it's just more of a U-shaped pulling in. That's
yeah, it's I can draw it. It's something like rounding bottom and a hook.
Right, a hook.
Right? But it's supposed to come from something that maybe was like this. So it's pulling back and not the difference up versus down. Bottoming patterns are treacherous, whereas stocks that have been in strong uptrends, buyers want to get in again, where this is, sellers want to get their money back if they get lucky. So anyway, do the review, Dan, and we'll move on.
You're done?
Yep.
All right, so I just made these 2 charts bigger and then I'll squish them back over when the market opens. Roku is the only open in the weekly options trader. And, we sat through it yesterday, closed with a bottoming tail 50%. That's still powerful. That's still a powerful consolidation on the daily and weekly, all-time highs on the monthly. And so hopefully the intelligent hope mode will let that thing expire worthless on Friday. Swing trader, we actually have a lot of positions. PEG bought a breakout yesterday, all-time highs. ETR, same. CNF last Friday, we entered a put spread on the breakout. That looks great. Mohawk, we're trading the bigger time frames here. And so we entered last Thursday. It's pulled against us a little bit, but our stop is way down here. That's how we traded it. ZBH was a short. Actually, now that I'm looking at it, it stopped out break even yesterday. At the lows here, I moved it to break even. So, all right, so that one's out break even. Turn Rihanna down. EEFT. We bought that break. No, we didn't. We sold a put spread on the breakout. DTE, we bought the breakout. We got a lot of these in the sector. KMB, we have a covered call. Looks great. WEC, long stock. We've tightened the stop. That looks great. SPWR, we're trading the longer time frames. It's pulled in, still fine as long as it holds 50% of this big old bar. It's okay. ARQL, we bought the breakout last Thursday. It's a 1, 2, 3, so it looks fine. Trader, yes. Trader, we've been through this so many times. Don't you know? Don't you get tell it? Well, I moved the stop And we legged into a covered call and we stopped out at a small gain, but it's in the open trade worksheet. If you ever have any questions, it's all right there in a beautiful Excel spreadsheet. So this is a 1, 2, 3. You can actually look to be adding, even though the monthly's at the prior high. That's bullish consolidation. We bought the breakout last week. It's a 1, 2, 3 on the monthly and the weekly. That's holding incredibly well. It looks great. Yeah, I told Greg that even with the market weakness, our stocks have been holding like tanks, even though I had no interest in trading the index ETFs because they're so sloppy. We've been finding these little crown jewels. We legged into a covered call on this tail. So the covered call is doing its job. We need to go into intelligent hope mode for that to hold. November Sierra, we talked about yesterday. Bought this, 1, 2, 3, and it needs to hold 50%. Finally, Maxer. We on this day we sold half at a 22% gain, and we've tightened the stop. I think to 708. So it's still, we'll see what it does. That's it on opens. Don't have a whole lot of gappers here today. I don't know if this one's earnings or just China related, but I like this one. Now it's slopping around here, but it's still holding 50%, rising 20, rising 50, and now it's gapping up to 32. So now it's gapping over a lot of this. It's gapping over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bars, and it has a price void. Target 35. I like this one, so I put that in the window. SWI, bearish gap under support, so that's a short watch. BCRX3, this is a bio, just getting its head taken off today. That's why we don't trade bios. Wow, I remember selling puts somewhere back here when Mink was bullish. Now look at this poor thing, $9. Wow. Look at that, 140 down to all gapping to all-time lows. That's some pain right there. Wow, Home Depot, I was going to say it was only down $1 and change when I looked at it earlier. I wonder if they have a conference call going on. That's a bearish pattern. It was a cliffhanger with these 3 bars, but now it's kind of hitting target from this March breakout right here. 185 would be my target, so I don't know what to do with that. AZO had earnings. Amazing that it's not moving. Well, yeah, it is. This is weird. It's not showing. Oh, that's why. All right, gapping up $40 to 1020. Yeah, it's gapping up right here to resistance. That's a strong uptrend on the weekly. Look at that. That's a buy setup and an uptrend. JC Penney had earnings. This thing looks horrible. KSS, I put in a window. We'll see where buyers want to step up. This is a retest pattern, but it's gapping on the weekly really to nowhere. I don't know what's going to happen with that. EPRT, we found this one scanning yesterday. If it can take out Friday's high. Chud, it's holding well with a little bear sandwich right here. 2 big green bars eating a bear bar. Bullish weekly monthly, gap in the 74.50. That's a nice one. I'm going to put that in a window. Band is still it's still a pending trade in the swing letter. That still looks great over the highs. There's a 1, 2, 3. bullish weekly, monthly. That looks great. Roku, we talked about. Facebook, yeah, everything's a mess here. Beyond, we've been watching for a while. Yeah, for me to want to do a call spread on this, I need a double top. Uber, Lyft, we've been watching. MJ, marijuana sector, gapping up a little bit, but no pattern. CGC, nice gap. It's a nice, that's a beautiful closing with a big retest here. Target's not really big, but that's bullish pre-market 15-minute. You might get a, I mean, I'm just focusing on scalps here because things are such a mess. MDB, yeah, I like that. Yeah, I like it. Yeah, bullish 2-bar consolidation after a breakout. 1, 2, 3 if it closed here on Friday. Yeah, I like that trader. Poor Tilray dog. Google, Netflix, Apple, gapping up here. Bitcoin is still a mess. Spiders, broke out there pre-market. We got 1 minute to go. I'm going to be doing nothing at the open except watching our tier ones and our opens and saying what is strong and weak. Even a Boeing coming in here. All right, that's it. I'm doing nothing. Oh, we got Walmart here tanking, maybe on the Kohl's news. Well, tanking's a relative term. Daily is still fine. I was just looking at this 5-minute chart. Yep, NCR looks great. Check earnings. 725, so we're fine there. Let's see if we can get a put spread and or a directional. That looks good. $30 puts, 35 by 85, so 2 illiquid. Your MDB. I like a 30-minute high on that. 30-minute high. Our Roku's holding better. Thank you very much. Now, Qs have a price void there, and it's holding well pre-market. The daily is absolute ugliness. But for a day trade, let's see what the semis look. Semis there, SMH. It's a weaker daily, of course, but I'm just talking day trade. It's a breakout of pre-market consolidation with a price void. Baba, yeah, maybe day trade. He's going to be more volatile than others, as you know. Checking our opens. EEFT is up the most. That's a put spread. Oh, nice.